Oh,
Sorry. Whatever.
sorry.
Yes.
It is weird staring at you for that long.
Electric Man, a Sandman, there's a dinosaur man, there's an octopus man, and then there's this old man.
You ain't no stronger than that. Spidey, what happened?
The Avengers. The Avengers. What's that? I love you. You're killing me. No, I'm not. You're absolutely. You're absolutely. I love you guys. Come on. Okay, go from where? Go from before. Go from before. Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 2, Peter 3. Sure.
Whoa. Save me, MJ. Okay, meow. You've been rolling this whole time.
Just me. Here, buddy, let me help you. Here, come on. It's okay.
Should we do the kiss?
Yeah, kiss me.
Welcome back, everyone. Marvel just released a whole bunch of Spider-Man No Way Home deleted scenes and bloopers, so we'll break them all down. They shot rows and rows of hard drives, more footage than they actually needed for the film. They could have turned this into a 6-hour movie, and we would have sat there and watched every single minute of it. We're doing a Disney Plus giveaway for memberships because Moon Knight is starting next week. I'll be doing videos for all the episodes like I did for all the other Disney Plus series. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite moment from the movie on the video. There's so much to cover that I'll just start with the good stuff: Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Venom, and some Matt Murdock Daredevil too. There's not a ton of Venom in here because I think that his scenes were cut earlier in production than the other versions of Spider-Man. Originally, Venom would have been there for the final boss fight at the Statue of Liberty. They'd always planned on having 5 of the Sinister Six villains there. Dr. Octopus was always going to turn good midway through the fight because of Peter's special chip that he made in his stolen Stark Tech fabricator. But all the other villains that you saw would have acted the same: Green Goblin, Electro, Sandman, Lizard. The difference was that Venom would have actually shown up in the fight and been the 6th Sinister Six character, making it a true Sinister Six for a brief hot second. Except he would have had a similar arc to Dr. Octopus. He starts out fighting all the different versions of Spider-Man: Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. Then he realizes that they're the good ones and starts helping them. Because that's his whole thing. He tries to be good despite the urges of his Venom symbiote to eat human brains for that special chemical that symbiotes need to survive. They didn't really get into that during Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3.
Maybe I should go to New York and speak to this, Spider-Man.
So the post-credit scene with Venom would have happened in a different place. He would have entered the movie sooner, and when he says, maybe we should go to New York and talk with this Peter Parker, then disappears thanks to Doctor Strange's second spell. Because this was happening way earlier, he would have actually made his way to New York City, and they would have paid that name drop off in a big way. But what ended up happening is that they got to the point where everyone that they had wanted had signed on to the movie, including Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and they switched the release order of the Marvel Phase 4 movies. Spider-Man No Way Home was originally coming out after Doctor Strange 2. That led to some big changes in both movies. I'll talk more about the Doctor Strange changes during my Doctor Strange 2 trailer videos. But once the mains had signed on and the Sinister Six villains, they decided that they didn't need the extra juice from having Venom there in the final fight, and they could save that for a future movie and just make him a smaller post-credit scene. They'd always planned on including Venom in some way, but they weren't exactly sure how that was going to happen. That's what they told to the Venom people that were producing that movie that made that post-credit scene with Tom Holland in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to do that before they did Spider-Man No Way Home. That's what happened with a lot of the cameos that they had planned for Spider-Man No Way Home. They developed several contingency plans just in case one of the actors didn't sign their contracts. So they had a couple alternate versions of this big final fight at the Statue of Liberty with different groups of characters, some of them wildly different than the one that you saw during the movie. Like early on, there was a version where Mysterio came back before they knew that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield would come back. They explained that it was William Ginter Riva using Mysterio's tech he had stolen at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. He's still out there, by the way. Even though they teased that Mysterio might have faked his death, they were playing it as if he had died and then salted the earth for Peter behind him by doxing him and dragging his name through the mud. That was meant to set up Peter's big choice during the film, the big spell, 2 big spells that is. They had a bunch of extra scenes of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield together by themselves, and also when they met Tom Holland's MCU Spider-Man for the first time. Part of it was them just having fun with the 2 of them, just a lot of funny moments as you can see here, but part of when they were meeting all 3 of them for the first time on screen was the writers wanting to get it right, so that it didn't feel too comedic or feel as if it wasn't one of the biggest cinematic events in recent history. There's this fine line that Spider-Man movies draw between comedy and heart, so a lot of the funny moments just had to hit the cutting room floor between the 2 of them, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, because a lot of them are just ad-libs with them showing up on the day and just having fun with each other. Like the whole thing with the pointing meme, like everybody just broke down laughing when they saw they actually did the pointing meme. The iconic pointing meme was actually Andrew Garfield's idea to begin with, and it started right before they shot their first actual scene in the movie together. They were walking onto set in all their costumes, and he said it just came to him as a random idea, like, hey, let's do this meme with the pointing. And it was mostly the 3 of them trying not to stare at each other's crotches, according to Andrew Garfield. For those of you also asking about the fake butt, Tom Holland was the one who claims that one of the Spider-Man butts on set was not a real butt.
Tom Holland did recently say that one of you guys wore a fake butt on set. So I need to know,
Yeah, I heard this.
who had the fake butt, Andrew?
Well, I have no idea. It's not me, so I have no clue. I don't know. I assumed everyone's butts were their butts.
So it's not you, it's not Tom, so I guess that means...
No, I don't think it's Toby. I've seen Toby's butt. Toby's got back.
My assumption, based on Andrew Garfield denying it, like he laughed and denied it, would be that it was Tobey Maguire. He is the more mature Spider-Man of the 3 of them. You wouldn't think it at first glance, but that is something that the costume department thinks about when they're designing Spider-Man suits. But apparently, everything does not get tuned up in post-production. Like, you can't fix every single little thing. One of the bigger deleted scenes also includes Matt Murdock Daredevil and Happy Hogan. You see Daredevil actually defending Happy Hogan as his very good lawyer.
You're gonna need a really good lawyer.
In the movie, he tells Peter that he's cleared of all the charges, but Happy is still in trouble for stealing the Stark Tech fabricator in the Iron Man Mark 6 reactor. So he has to get a very good lawyer, and they filmed a bunch of extra scenes where Jon Favreau talks about having a foggy memory, because during the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, he played a version of Foggy Nelson.
Details. You owe me that.
Her name's Electra Nachos.
Well, she sounds like a Mexican appetizer.
It's Greek, genius. Her father's Nicholas Nachos.
The billionaire?
Later, you can see he and Charlie Cox getting grilled by the damage control lawyers, and it's just more of him being Happy's very good lawyer. The little girl who played Iron Man's daughter in Avengers Endgame, Lexi Rabe, Morgan Stark, she also filmed a scene for the movie that was cut. I'm assuming it also came during this montage when they're all getting raked over the coals, and she was just speaking on the behalf of Peter and Happy Hogan. For those of you wondering why Pepper Potts never got involved, I feel like she could have stepped in at any time and said, don't press charges on either of them, because technically she owned all the stuff that Happy stole. The way Gwyneth Paltrow explains it, that she's always game to come back if Robert Downey Jr. comes back, and I think the question of him coming back is just them finding the right story for him to come back during. I do not think it's going to be during Doctor Strange 2. I think it'll probably be like Avengers Secret Wars or something later down the line. I still think the version of Iron Man that we see in Doctor Strange 2 is a variant that's played by some different actor. I've already talked about the alternate post-credit scenes they did for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in my other deleted scenes videos, and as you can see, they shot a bunch of extra footage with the Sinister Six villains together, just walking around town like a casual group of high-tech supervillains. And for those of you hoping that they'll make Amazing Spider-Man 3 at some point, they keep teasing fans with Amazing Spider-Man 3. They called Andrew Garfield Peter number 3 during the lineup at the end. And for his special features, they used the special Amazing Spider-Man movie font to create an Amazing Spider-Man number 3 featurette for him about how amazing it was that he came back. Does it not feel that they're teasing us with Amazing Spider-Man 3 like, wouldn't it be cool if we actually made this? My assumption right now, though, is that what they'll do is they'll tell the story of Amazing Spider-Man 3 over the course of a couple other movies, like they did for the Hulk during the Avengers movies, because they couldn't make a Hulk solo movie before. Instead of straight up making Amazing Spider-Man 3 as a solo movie, like we'll get that story, but it'll be inside a couple other people's movies in the future. If there are any big Easter eggs that you spotted that I didn't talk about during the video or my other deleted scenes videos, just write them below in the comments. My full Moon Knight episodes will start next week after they start releasing them. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of those. Congratulations, Marvin Martinez, you're the giveaway winner from my last big Marvel video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Everyone click here for more Spider-Man No Way Home deleted scenes, and click here for my new Moon Knight trailer video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.